All right, Mike, let's talk about UCLA. Are you worried at all about this group, or was this just a situation where maybe they didn't have a couple of their stars at full strength? You go on the road, you play against an elite team, and you get beat. It happens. It's college basketball.
Yeah, even if Johnny and Jaime were 100%, you could lose that game. I mean, you're playing a terrific team on the road. Yeah, that happens. I mean, I wouldn't worry about that at all. I do think that I think they need to keep the offense flowing more. They have so many guys that can get their own shot, and I mean, Johnny can, Jaime can, Jules Bernard. They all can get their own shot. But when they do that, if it doesn't go down because they haven't moved, because everybody's kind of stationary waiting to get things going. Today, there were a lot of those kinds of shots that didn't fall. I think UCLA only shot 38% from the field, and then it's one and out. Arizona's got 3 6'10" guys there to rebound the ball, and you're not getting it. So when they flowed, when they moved, they were much more difficult to stop. So they have to do that more. They have to save the one-on-one stuff for late clock. And that's a great thing to have. Like you have 4 guys on the floor who can deal with late clock. And so great, have that for them, but run your stuff, push a little bit more. That's another thing that they wanted to do that in the preseason. And when they did it tonight, they were really effective, but they were a little bit too patient offensively. They're walking the ball up a little bit too much. And I'm not talking about.
I think that probably had a little to do with trying to get Arizona out of what they wanted to do. But you're 100% right about the one-on-one stuff. I mean, they live on tough twos, and it feels like they don't have to live on tough twos when you have some of the guys that they have on that roster.
Yeah, I like I said, I mean, literally, if you got 7 seconds on the shot clock, any one of 4 guys can make a play, and it may not be the perfect play, but it's a play. But tonight they were doing that with 20 seconds on the shot clock, 25 seconds on the shot clock. And you're not like they did that a lot in the Stanford game and dominated. So it wasn't a great performance on Saturday, but they still dominated. It's a habit that they fall into because they can do it. But they have to get themselves away from that. They're too good when they run their stuff. And when you've got 5 guys that can score, if the guy that shoots is always open, then there's a really good chance that you're going to shoot a high number and you're going to win. And so that's what they have to keep, have to keep their minds on that. Defensively, I don't think they're an elite team, but I thought there were moments tonight when they were pretty effective. They lost some players from here and there in some key times, but I thought they were pretty effective by and large. It just it's a question of making sure that they have their minds on it. And I think sometimes they drift out of that a little bit, but I don't have any serious concerns about them being a terrific team. Because they came out of the Final Four and brought everybody back, they were pretty highly projected. And then it became kind of cool when they finally lost a game or two to say, I never really thought they were that great anyway. I think they've shown since then, they're one of the best teams. They're flawed. So's everybody else in some way. So it's a question of conquering your flaws or papering over your flaws, or however you want to say it. I think, most of the nights they do that.
I think you just described my my roller coaster of emotions when it comes to this. I'm 100% the guy that you're referring to when you talk about getting on the bandwagon early, jumping off, and then getting back on after they looked really good when they when they beat Arizona. So I want to ask you this, Ashton. Last year, this UCLA team was known for being really good offensively, and they couldn't get stops until the tournament. Right now, they are actually a top 10 team on Ken Palm's adjusted defensive efficiency metric. They jumped in there after this performance tonight. I think that's how they're going to have to win games moving forward. They need to be great defensively and make just enough shots to be able to win if you kind of win some close games. And I'll tell you what, that switch in defense they played, I thought they did really, really well against what Arizona was trying to run, pick and roll stuff in the second half.
Yeah, you got to hang. I think they should definitely hang their hat on their defense. And that's what Mick Cronin is used to as well. Going back to his Cincinnati days, is almost being a tough, gritty, defensive-minded team. And like Mike said, they have the offensive weapons. I think they also need to get the ball in early offense. Just try to get the ball, across half court, kick it ahead a few times, and get early, easy buckets. So they're not playing late into the shot clock. But defensively is where they should really hang their hat. They have, Cody Riley, Miles Johnson underneath where they can change shots. Johnny Juzang, Tiger Campbell, these guys can really defend, athletes that can really defend, stay in front of guys. And then you have Mick Cronin. He's known as a defensive minded coach. So they have what it takes. Now it's just, sticking to it and being consistent, hanging your hat on it and just being consistent, especially getting later into the season.